Welcome to another edition of the Essex County Ghost Project TV show. I'm your co-host, Tom Spitaleri. I'm here with Bill today. Bill, thank you for coming in. Well, we finished Halloween. God. 32 events in 31 days, over 60 events from August till the end of this year. It was a great, successful Halloween season. I want to thank everybody in the greater Haverhill, southern New Hampshire, and beyond, and HC Media for filming the Halloween special live with that from Lawrence Community Access TV. And this year we had actually 3 public access stations tuned in at the same time. Was HC Media, LCAT, and Bill Ricker Public Access. So that was a great Halloween season, wasn't it, Bill? We had fun. A lot of great people we met, educated ourselves a little bit more about some of the talks I've done. But as you all know, Essex County is Essex County Ghost Project. But what a lot of people don't know is we've always dabbled in the ufology field. I've dabbled in that and in the crypto field, but we're not going to get into the crypto stuff today. It's already started per se, but Essex County now has a ufology arm led by my good friend Bob McDermott, who used to have New England Paranormal Associates years and years ago. And we've been putting together a ufology team as well as some new paranormal team members. So if you're interested, just let me know. Reach out to me. I'm real easy to get a hold of if you're interested in this. Today we're actually going to talk about not ghosts, Bill. No. We're going to give the ghosts a rest tonight. We're going to talk about UFOs. Now, UFOs, I'm not going to use the word UABs. I'm going to be honest with you right up front. I'm not a big fan of that word at all.
UAPs.
UAPs, yeah, or whatever they're called.
Unidentified aerial phenomena.
No, yeah. We're going to stick with UFOs. So, what we're going to talk about is, and a while back, I read a lot of different newspapers, and one of the papers I read is actually Haverhill Life. It's a little free newspaper, comes out once a month.
Right.
Back in 2019, a guy I know very well, Zib Drellick, wrote this article in the Haverhill Life newspaper, which is a once-a-month newspaper. And I found that interesting. Also, too, there's been a couple, I missed a couple of them, but back in 2022, 2020, this is the lady in white, this is a different one. I have that somewhere else, but the Haverhill Gazette put out in their column about a UFO over Haverhill once before. Okay. So, I mean...
Do we know who reported that, or...?
No, you never know who's going to report
anonymous?
them. Yeah, anonymous.
Okay.
But, I mean, I've heard UFO stories way back as far as, Zeb talks about them in the 40s. I have a friend of mine who lives in Riverside who in the 60s was watching her brother. They're both now grown up. They're adults now.
Right.
And had something big fly right over their house, and she knows it was a UFO. If you look at the way that all went down with that UFO sighting, within minutes of that sighting, Washington Street, Methuen, which is right off of 213, basically where I live in Methuen, there was a UFO sighting. So when you're driving down 213 in the Salem, New Hampshire, you get the loop on the left, then you see all those houses on the right. That's Washington Street. So once you get past those houses, the street that those houses turn onto is Washington Street. Middle of the road, so you're coming off of House Street, you go up Washington Street, you start getting hills. You come up the first hill, you go down. As you're crescendoing the second hill, right in that area there, because Washington Street goes like this, then like this, then like this, and then used to drop into Haverhill until the 36 flood that wiped out the road back there that went into from Washington Street down to West Lowell Avenue, that end of Haverhill. So right in that area there, that was put in the Methuen history book for the bicentennial of the country, the 76th bicentennial. Methuen historian Ernie Mack, God rest his soul, wrote a book about the history of Methuen, an updated book, because there was only one other book written about the history of Methuen. So this was an updated book. He interviewed 2 women that actually saw a UFO on Washington Street. Shortly after these people that I know saw one in Haverhill.
Right.
Another sighting, couple years back on Halloween night, I got a call from a couple of different people who were at a Halloween event. I was doing an event up at the Sandown train station, and got a call from a couple different people that I trust saying something weird just flew over the stadium.
All right.
So this was the night of trick-or-treating 2 years ago.
Now, they couldn't hear nothing?
No.
Any sound?
No sound, no nothing.
Sound.
They just happened to look up and see this thing. But boom,
We'll
it
go right
was
by.
there. Which is interesting. That same Halloween month, on Halloween, this was just outside of Haverhill, I was in Sandown, now called the Sandown Triangle, which that's for another show, and saw 2 hot dog-shaped UFOs fly over Zavino Vineyards. I was there for a wedding. Back a couple years back near Christmas, we're down at Westgate Plaza. There was a UFO sighted about maybe 50 feet above the lighting stanchions at Market Basket Plaza, at the one down near the stadium, not Westgate, the one near the stadium.
Right.
Some people call that the Groveland Market Basket, but it's really the Stadium Plaza, I believe.
Yeah.
So, and that was seen. And when that report came through, I made some phone calls to some very well-known people in Riverside. A couple people said to me, no, we thought nothing about it, Tom. We thought it was just the emergency helicopter from the old Merrimack Valley Hospital, now called, I believe, Lawrence General Havel, but I'm not sure, but in that area.
Right.
So I called a couple other people. They go, no, a couple people went outside and looked and said it wasn't a helicopter. They saw the same thing that was reported to me. And then last night on my way home, so last night we did a show in Lawrence, my podcast show.
Yeah.
And we did it on UFOs and the revisiting of Roswell. So then I went to Mr. Mike's to grab a salad. Because I was hungry. I didn't eat dinner.
Yeah.
And, there's not a lot of restaurants open late anymore, as we know, since COVID. They're getting closed earlier and earlier. So I went to Mr. Mike's. So I took the back way back because I live in Methuen. So I went up 125 down Hilldale Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I was on the phone with one of the Essex County historians. So we get down there, Shribney Farms. Just past Shribney Farms, this thing comes flying over the farmland towards 97. This is probably close to 10 o'clock or so last night. This wasn't early.
Right.
I think I left around 9:30, so between 9:30 and 10 o'clock in that ballpark. I was going to stop and get a picture of it. By the time I stopped, the thing disappeared. It went right over Hilldale Avenue, right over the part of the farm towards 97, and then disappeared. When I got out to 97, because I went down Hilldale, down Monument Street by the high school, get out on 97 to head home the back way, there was nothing in the sky. Nothing at all in the sky. So that was an interesting night, especially since I had just did a show on revisiting Roswell.
Right.
I mean, that just was the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
About 15 years ago, I was driving home from Exeter, and I get a call from somebody I trust going, are you in the area? No. I just got a report of a UFO over Lafayette Square.
Lafayette Square.
So,
only one person reported it?
Couple people did.
Oh, a couple.
Yeah. That I know about. I don't know how many actually went online, went to MUFON and all.
They don't want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to be known.
Of course, by the time I got from Amesbury to Lafayette Square, even breaking the sound barrier. No, not really. I don't drive that fast. It was long gone.
Of course.
Of course. I mean, that's just the way these things. They're not like ghosts. Ghosts are a little bit easier.
Yeah.
They're usually stuck either in a portal
You
or
got
in the
those for
building.
1 or 2 minutes and they disappear.
Right. UFOs, they're there and they're
Second,
gone.
bang, they're gone.
So those are some of the UFO sightings that we've seen in the area, all right? And there's probably many, many more. 3 years ago, I did a talk at the Havel Public Library, Canosa Triangle. We just did it, revisiting the Canosa Triangle. As you know, we had a great turnout that night, over 40 people. Off of Giles Street 3 years ago, one of my team members actually sent me a picture from a friend of hers of 2 UFOs over Giles Street.
Great.
Yeah. So that's another one of those sightings. And then you could go check out, there are different groups. One I just found
but-
called New Fork.
The saucer, you couldn't see, just a light.
Right.
You saw the lights?
Yeah.
But not the saucer itself, yeah.
There are different places, if you want to be anonymous. You could either send information to me anonymously, because I will not publish names. As you could tell, when I was telling stories of these UFOs by people, I never gave out one person's name.
Yeah.
I've kept this private, and it will always stay private. Or there are sites like, I just found one last night called New Fork, N-U, and I'm going to spell this out, N-U, capital, F-O-R-C. I haven't figured out what it meant. I've only been on it for a few minutes. But it goes back from 2019 till present.
Okay,
So it's a new site.
N-U-F-O-R-C.
Yeah,
N-U-F-R-O-C.
N-U-F-O-R-C, all in caps. So obviously it's an N.
All caps.
Yeah. And then, of course, MUFON has their own you could check out.
Yeah.
There's another group you can put in UFOs over Massachusetts, and they get a map of the United States, then you zoom in on it, and the area you want, it blows it up in southern New Hampshire. You can see all those sites.
And there's another one called UFO Index.
That UFO Index too, yes, which is a relatively newer one. So there are many sites you could go check. And if you're that interested in UFOs, I would check all 3 sites that I just mentioned. Because if you want a good picture of what's being seen in the area, it's just like your favorite grocery store.
Yeah.
Some people like to use Market Basket Central Plaza, and some rather use Westgate, and some rather use the plaza down near the stadium.
Okay. Let's
It's
get
same
into
with UFOs.
Do you think they're all legitimate or some hoaxes?
I would think if you're going out there putting them on site, you believe what you saw. Now, me saying that, was it a UFO or was it a drone? Until you see pictures of it. The problem
Drone, satellite.
Right. The problem is some of these places don't have photographs. So you got to go by what
They saw.
they saw.
Right.
And I will always believe what somebody sees. I mean, I will never question that. I mean,
There are optical illusions.
there are optical illusions, yes.
Of course.
Now, what's interesting about UFOs, now, I'm going to leave Havel for a minute, and then we're going to get into a very serious discussion about UFOs. Many years ago, I worked up in Exeter, New Hampshire. I worked Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays. Of course, what happened on a Wednesday? There was a UFO sighting at 3 in the afternoon. By Thursday, I go to work, and my boss throws me a handful of newspapers, almost dropped them all. I go, what's all this? He goes, these are all for you. There was a UFO sighting in Exeter yesterday. It made the papers for about a week, because this wasn't the incident in Exeter. This was 30 years after. This was, I've been out probably 16 years. I would say 23 years with the festival. I'm trying to think how long I've been out of there. I would say probably 2010, 2011. I got the articles, but off the top of my head, I'm not remembering the year.
Yeah.
But I have all the articles, okay? Not with me, though, but I have them in another book. Shortly after that, so they had kids' drawings from Exeter, what people seen. It was a very well-written stories covered by the whole Seacoast Daily News. So that was Exeter, Portsmouth, Hampton, Union. All of those papers covered this thing, and I got them all for about a week. They had different discussions. But
Did you get a picture of the kids drawing the air?
yeah, I have all of that stuff. I have the articles. I just got to dig them out, but I have them. The question is what box they're in at this point, but I do have them. That was part of my saving in my newspaper collection, okay? But that's not the point of this conversation. We're leading up to something that Bill's very well versed in. So this happened roughly around 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
Right.
Around 2:15, the same shape was seen again in England.
Oh, wow.
So that means it went over the Great Lake, meaning the
probably
Atlantic
in a
Ocean,
second.
into England. So now that makes you wonder something about UFOs. And that's what we're going to talk about the rest of the show about, basically, is how fast do they travel? Because that's pretty quick to get from here to England in less than 10 minutes. And how do they travel? So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Bill. What type of system do you think they have that they're traveling with as far as propulsion systems?
Well, there's, let me start with what we got, then I'll get into what they got.
Okay.
Okay? All right, we'll start off with a ramjet. Hydrogen-fueled ramjet. Now, the hydrogen is in space. So once they take off, they can use the hydrogen in space for energy to propel the ship. Okay? The hydrogen will take you at the speed of light. Only problem is the drag. It's like a curtain sticking out, and it's electromagnetic, and it grabs the hydrogen, but it puts a drag on the ship. So that was out. They couldn't use that because of the drag, even though it could propel you to the speed of light if there's no drag on the ship. Okay? Then we go to the quantum vacuum. We use the energy in space that's there, which is called the quantum vacuum. Okay, this is another ramjet. The hydrogen ramjet, now it's the quantum vacuum ramjet. That will take you to the speed of light, too. But there's a lot of problems with that. But that's what they're working on that now. Now that's probably good just for our solar system to use that vacuum, quantum vacuum spaceship, okay? That's good to take us maybe in a couple of minutes or something to the different planets or whatever.
Mars, Venus.
But not going to the stars.
Right.
All right? Then we jump in to what they're probably using is something more exotic, okay? Well, we're going to start with the warp drive.
Okay.
Now, if you watch Star Trek, remember they said warp 3?
Yeah.
You know what warp 3 is?
No.
It's 8 times the speed of light.
Okay.
So warp 3 is 8 times the speed. Okay? So you can imagine what warp 10 is. Was it 100 times the speed of light?
Right.
Warp 10?
Yeah.
Or you got warp 3 8 times?
Right.
Okay? So warp drive, it still takes time even with warp drive. Like if you want to go to the nearest star, all right? If you go to the speed of light, it takes you 4 years. If you go warp drive, it takes you 2 days. It's still time, okay? Now what happens with a warp drive is, what you do is you need energy. It changes electromagnetic fields into gravity. You use gravity to bend and warp space-time, all right? So you can go, it's not the ship that's moving.
Right.
Right? It's the space and time around it that's moving.
Okay.
Think of a person on an escalator at the airport. He's standing on it. The escalator is moving. He's not moving, but the escalator is moving.
Moving, right.
So think of the ship. It's not moving, but space-time is moving. And by the way, space-time goes faster than the speed of light. Most people don't know that. That space-time goes faster than the speed of light. Okay? Now, what Einstein said is nothing can go faster than the speed of light. Now, he's talking about mass. And he said mass can go close to the speed of light, but not to the speed of light.
Right.
All right? So, we go from warp drive, which takes you 2 days to go to Alpha Centauri, which is 4 light years away. Okay? Now we jump into the jump. Now we go into the jump drive.
Yeah.
This is instant.
Okay.
There's hardly any time involved. You go from point A
point.
to point B.
Yeah.
Now that's what I think they have. I think they have the jump drive. They went beyond the warp drive, and now they have the jump drive, which almost takes you instantly. So if you go into Alpha Centauri 4 light years away, microseconds, you're there.
So that
A, B.
So that UFO that looked like the same one that was in Exodus seen in England 10 minutes later is.
Well, they're traveling in an atmosphere. They're not traveling space where there's no atmosphere.
Right.
So they can't go to they're not going to go to speed of light on Earth.
No.
They'll go 20, 30,000 miles an hour.
Right. That's why
ship.
it took them 15 minutes,
Right.
probably, to be seen.
So they're not going to use they're going to use the anti-gravity, but not the warp drive or the jump drive, okay?
Or the hyperdrive if you're Star
Well,
Wars.
hyperdrive, that's all hyperdrive means is more than 3 dimensions. When they talk about you see somebody talking about hyperdrive, they're talking about more than 3 dimensions. So you're in hyperspace.
Yeah.
More than 3 dimensions. What do we live in? We live in 3 dimensions plus time, which is the 4th dimension.
Correct.
So that's the hyperspace. Then you go to 5, 6, 7. You can keep going up. All right? And then you got wormholes. Now, most likely, some of these space people, they don't wait for a wormhole to open. They make their own wormhole open.
Right.
They go right into it and they're gone instantly. Okay? So they probably have the jump drive and the wormhole they can use to go wherever they want to go
Yeah, that makes sense.
instantly. Okay, I wish I had a piece of paper to show you the wormhole. You don't have any paper?
No, I do not.
No.
No.
Oh, let's
Sorry. I do not.
see. All right.
Oh, wait a minute. I do.
You got a piece
Hold
of
on a
paper?
minute. We do. We think we do.
Yeah.
It's lined, but it's better than nothing.
Right.
I don't have a pen, though.
No pen. Okay. Well, I can do it anyways.
Yeah.
If you see here, say if you wanted to go this point to over here, okay? If you go in a straight line, it's gonna take you time,
Yeah.
okay? But if you bend it like this, you bend space-time, and now you're almost instantly there. You bend the space and time
Right.
where you're going. So now you're right at that point. Go right through it, and you're there. In
Yeah, that makes
nanoseconds,
sense.
probably.
Right.
Instead of taking maybe a year or something, you're there in nanoseconds through a wormhole, okay? Now, they're probably using the wormhole and the jump drive. Now, the jump drive is, we have to first build the warp drive.
Right.
It'll take us 2 days to go to Alpha. That's not bad.
No.
Better than 4 years to get the speed of light,
Right.
right? I'd rather go with the warp drive and get there in 2 days.
Right. Exactly.
Right? And look around. Thing is when you're almost there, you got to slow down. You can't, if you keep going, you're going to go right
You'll
by
blow
it.
right by it. Right.
So a certain distance, you have to have your computers adjusted to tell the engine to slow down at a certain
Right.
point so you get there. So then you can look around, see if there are any planets and all that stuff around it.
Right.
So-
Because it's probably its own star system
Right.
at that point when you're that far out there.
So what do you think is the best? The jump drive,
Yeah.
right? And then you go to the wormhole. Most likely, a lot of them just have the jump drive. They can go instantly anywhere, right?
Correct.
And some have the wormhole, which they can go. They can open a wormhole and go right inside of it and go wherever they wanted to.
Yeah, that makes
So they got
sense.
2 things. They got the jump drive and the warp drive. Okay?
Yeah, that makes total sense at this point.
Right. That's most likely when you see them go they're going like this and boom, they're gone.
Yeah.
Most likely that's a wormhole that opened up. They open up a wormhole
And they
went
go
inside
right
and it
through.
closes up and it disappears right in front of your eyes. Okay? That's why they can go straight up and go like this. Because inside there, the gravity's 0. So you're not going to be crushed. Like if you're in one of our spaceships, going 30,000 miles an hour. You're not crushed against the back. If you go in a 90-degree angle, like this, instantly. They don't have to. If you're in a spaceship, you have to go like this, around.
Right.
You can't go instantly like that.
No.
But they can because they got the warp drive and the anti-gravity inside the ship. So it's zero in there, so you're not going to have any momentum that's going to push you against the wall and crush you to death.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting, Bill. That is extremely interesting. So,
well, that's what the government's working on, and that's what Elon Musk is working on, a warp drive. People criticize him because he's got rocket. You're not going to get to the stars on a rocket. Of course, we all know that.
right.
It's not fast enough.
No.
You think he's a dummy? He's a billionaire,
Right.
multi-billionaire, right?
Yes.
He's secretly working on the warp drive. He's got scientists and stuff in the background
Right.
working on the warp drive for him.
Yeah.
He wants to be the first to get there, okay? He was the first one with a rocket that come down like this and went right in. You see that?
Yeah.
Turned around like this, went down, and then went right in. So he could use the rocket over, okay? He's the first one to do that, okay?
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Now, Jeff Bezos just come down straight. He didn't go inside
right.
like that. He went straight down.
Yeah.
But that was like the capsule that came down, not the rocket itself.
Right, the
It was
capsule
just the
itself.
capsule
Right.
that came down and landed. So,
Yeah, no, it's very interesting, what they have out there. It really is. And we've only touched the surface of what's out there.
I'll tell you, Elon Musk is going to be first.
Right. Yeah, most likely. But I mean,
Oh,
we've only touched the surface of what's out there in the ufology world, the Bigfoot world, and even the paranormal.
well, we're not going to get to point A, B by a rocket.
No, we're not going to do that at all.
What does it take? 8 months to go to, if you go at the speed we got,
Right.
you know how long it'll take to get to Mars? 8 months, 9 months.
Exactly. And that's still
And 8 months back, of course.
right.
So
Exactly.
16
So you're
months.
looking at almost a year and a half to do Mars.
Yeah, you don't want to stay on a rocket that long.
No. That you'd have to make sure you weren't afraid of being.
Yeah, you're
in close
closed in,
quarters.
don't forget.
Yeah, for
It's
16
not open
months.
like
No.
this. It's all
No,
closed
you're
in.
closed in like this
Yeah.
for 16 months. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, 8 months like that.
Yeah.
And then 8 months back like
Right.
that.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can't think of that.
No, not at all.
No.
So, I think we had a great show today, Bill. We're coming to the end of a great show
okay.
already. So I want to thank you, Bill. I want to thank the people at home. And remember one thing, Friday night after Thanksgiving kicks off the 23rd annual Buttonwoods Festival of Trees, which Essex County, the Paranormal Zone, the Essex County TV show, all have wreaths and trees in the Festival of Trees. So come on down, enjoy the Festival of Trees. It's a major fundraiser for the Buttonwoods Museum. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, and I'm actually heading back to my crypt. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.